Got to keep that OT cough alive, right?
Don't start. I'm sad. OT needs to come back.
I'm keeping it alive. If anything, I'm the Easter egg show.
Easter egg show.
That's it. It's just nothing but OT callbacks. All right, we're up. I'm all green. Ooh, pop out the chat.
Did we Discord it?
Pop out the chat. I forgot about that. Ow. I always do. There's too many windows.
Chat.
There's too many. It's like I need a guidebook or something to do with this every week. Like 18 steps to do a live stream, man. It's too much. Can't wait for Stadia to come. I'll just like click button and it's just like boom, go. It's gonna be so much fun. Only. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You guys don't even know.
Fingers crossed.
You don't know what you don't know. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Why does Shaq only go at us and not anybody else?
It's whoever signs up for the role.
Oh, I didn't know they could sign up.
Yeah. All the roles are sign-ups. You can, if you want to just like hit everybody in the room, which is basically everybody in the server, and you do the channel name. People don't like that. When I say people, I mean Jason. Jason doesn't like that.
Yeah, he does not like.
He gets very upset when everybody hits the room tags or the here tag or the everyone tag. It bothers him.
I can't do a room tag.
You should be able to type in like hashtag Nintendo-Shack. Like exactly what the room's called.
I thought it was at here.
Yeah, you can do that too. At here works too. But you did it. You put in the tag.
At here doesn't work. Did it bloop everybody?
It should. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I had the Shack muted. You guys were going off about Nindies. I was like, this is too much blowing up, and I can't.
Well, just wait until you settle in for the rest of this show. You're gonna love it. It's right on your alley. All right. Let's begin improper. Let's move my stuff where I like it. Bam. Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome back to PSVG's Nintendo Shack. My name is Donnie Reese, and just like every week when she's not moving into a mansion, I am joined by my companion. Hi, Carol.
Hi. I'm not even going to respond to the mansion comments anymore. Hello.
I mean, I guess when you have a mansion, you have that right. You can just not, you're like, psh. Why do I need to respond to you? I don't have to respond to this. I'm into mansion culture. And
so I'm just not going to respond to any of that. Yeah, hopefully for everybody that watches the video, I will be in a proper room next week. I bought a desk and I'm waiting on the desk to get here.
Does your mansion have a streaming room?
It's a game room. It's a finished basement.
Must be nice. It's like a studio. In-house studio.
No,
she's just running kind of funny over there. You have like a rig with like the backlights and all that and everything set up, like a big TV screen wall.
She's got a whole green wall instead of like a green screen.
Yeah, it's just the wall. She painted the wall that way.
I haven't painted anything. That's what sucks. I still got so much to do.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm just very tired.
Okay. Nobody cares about that. Have you hooked up the Switch yet? That's the real question.
I did.
There we go.
Yeah, because we were doing our Breath of the Wild thing, and I was like, you know what? Brian's like, well, if you're not going to play it, I want to play it. I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. Why don't you play it? You've never played it before. So I hooked it up, and Brian played it.
Are you like backseat driver, like armchair quarterbacking it while he plays? Or are you like, stop doing this?
Not to. I'm just having to like busy myself doing something else, and if he's confused, then I'll chime in. But he got the Magnesis rune, and I think he made his way to the Crinus rune. And he had the bomb and the Magnesis runes. So he's got 2 more to get on the plateau, and then but he's been busy at work all week, so he hasn't touched it since this past weekend. But I touched it too. We'll get back to that. But
that's a good sound trip. It's a good sound clip. We're gonna have to cut that one out of here.
What?
That laugh that you heard earlier is Devin from the OT. What's up, Dev? Welcome to the Shack.
What's good?
What's
good, man? I'm out here chilling. Yeah, I'm here again. I think it's the second time I've been on the Shack. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. It's a good place to be.
It's fun. It's a jolly old time. It's cute, as my co-host Coach Mo would say.
The Shack is lit as one deemed by one Devin, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the room where everybody's talking. So yeah, we get to go in there and argue because it's fun, because it's lit.
It's lit. Well, this episode is Nintendo Shack 73. Spring Nindies have sprung. We're going to break down that Nindie Direct that we got today. Lots of good games coming to the Nintendo Switch. But the reason that Devin is here is we are continuing on. Nintendo Shack returns to Hyrule Part 2. Because, Dev, this is all about you, man. This is the campaign to make Dev switch. So, you've been playing Breath of the Wild. Tell us how amazing and greatest of all-time game it is.
It's about as amazing as it is frustrating.
That's fair.
It's not at all what I expected. I was going in looking for a Zelda game where I pick up a boomerang and then I get the bow and arrow, the typical Zelda stuff, and it's not that at all. Just like to echo how Josh was feeling in his frustration, he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I had a lot of that frustration. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? Okay, I got to open these shrines up. Okay, let's do this. Okay, cool. Got all the shrines, got off the plateau. I'm just like, it said to go here. So I went here. I think it was Kakariko Village. So I'm just running around, really irritated at how long it takes to get anywhere. And then you get to Kakariko, and now it's like, okay, now you got to go do these 4 beasts or whatever, divine beasts, whatever they're called. And they're like on the opposite sides of the map. I'm like, there's got to be like another waypoint that I'm supposed to go to before all these other places, right?
Sure.
Not so much.
There are a billion waypoints between those 2 points.
Yeah, but I'm not directed to go to any of them.
No, you're not. You got to go find them.
Listen,
like, okay, just go explore. I'm like, oh.
Every tower and every shrine is a warp point.
Yeah, I figured that out. But again, I'm used to...
It's the lack of being told to go here.
Yes. Blinking on your map, telling you where to go. Like, even in the Zelda games, it's like, this is the dungeon you need to go to. It's going to flash until you get there. Yeah, so it was just having to break my brain of the typical tropes that you're roped into when you're playing video games, because now they hold your hand and tell you where to go and what to do. This is like the original Zelda. You just had to find everything. So... It totally is just a callback and having to just completely rework my thinking on how I'm playing the game to just go out and explore and just find stuff.
And so you're not using a guide. You're not using a map. Guide. So it's very difficult to give him answers or instruction too, because he's like, there's sand. I see lots of sand. And you're like, okay. And there you are. Go north. He's like, where? I'm like, pull out a map.
Yeah,
a little mini map that shows where the inn is. It rotates around. It's got the inn
right.
on it.
Get that, but see, okay, if I'm on one side and I go due north, which is just straight up, that's not where he was telling me to go. So
and how easy it is to veer off path when you don't have a map. You don't know where you're going. I mean, Zelda's built that way. All the ridges and everything you have to climb, you have no idea. You don't realize it. You just start veering 5 degrees off. Every square of the map, and all of a sudden you're in a different region by the time you get there.
Yeah.
That's why I find putting down your points of light on your map.
Sure.
And look for those towers and go get the towers first. And once you get those towers, it unlocks the map for that region. And that's like the best thing you could probably do for yourself at this point.
Yeah, I'm a masochist, so I'm just giving myself just frustrating. I'm just running around, and I'm enjoying that. It's been fun. I like going to the shrines and like, okay, how can I break this and not do what they're supposed to do? So like one of the first shrines I came across, it was you had to tilt the switch to get the ball to land the certain way. I was like, dude, screw all that. So I just stasis the ball and knocked it over the wall, and boom, hole in one, done.
And they probably thought about that. They probably said that's a viable solution.
Donnie's idea was way better. Just flip it over so it's flat and let it roll that way. I was like,
isn't that easy?
Only I would have thought of that. Yeah, that would have made so much sense.
I found one the other day that I remembered how to do it, but I also remembered that there was another way to do it. So I actually looked it up and found out there were 8 ways to solve the puzzle. There are like so many different ways that everybody has figured out how to do it. I was like, man, this is insane. So
yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I had another one where there was like the spiky balls that are like swinging, and it says to try to get them to swing, and I'm like, screw all that. I just wrapped them around the poles so they wouldn't swing.
That works.
And walked under them.
That works. There's one, I don't remember what shrine it is, and I'm sure our chat will let me know tomorrow. But there's one, I believe, like the subtitle of the shrine is called Impeccable Timing, where you're supposed to set off like this chain reaction of bombs that like
I remember which one you're talking about.
You don't have to do any of that at all. You literally just roll the ball into the water, use like the freeze thing to bring the ball up and just throw it in. And like
That's what
it's supposed to be
ended up
very
doing.
elaborate. You're supposed to put all these bombs, all these switches to turn it on and off to make all these things happen at once. Like this whole, cat maze of things that happen one after the other. And it's like you just go pick it up and throw it in and move on.
I remember exactly doing that because I remember being frustrated with it the first time around, and I looked up online and somebody said that you can just cry and sit across.
Yeah,
It's the best way to do it.
it's so easy. So there's a lot of that out there. I share your frustration, the frustration voiced over by the Board of Video Games crew, because Breath of the Wild would be a really hard game that, let's say you weren't excited to play it. Let's say you were playing it because you lost a bet and you were being forced to play it against your will. You can't just like mainline Breath of the Wild. Like you just can't pull out like a walkthrough and go from point A to point B until you finish the game. You know, like you can't. There's so many things you need to do between A and B that you'll either get lost or you'll get frustrated that you can't get there fast enough. So I feel like if you come into Breath of the Wild with the mindset, I'm going to beat this game, without being like a game breaker, like really good professional gamer. Like if you actually want to play it, but you're just like, I'm just here, I'm going to beat the story and get out. You can't do that with this game. That's how I play like Tomb Raider. Like I could just get in and out of Tomb Raider and I do the story and I'm out. You can't do that with Breath of the Wild. You don't have that option. You could do that with Twilight Princess. You can't do that here. So.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I'm enjoying myself. I think the biggest frustration that I have is like going through all the shrines, and I'm wanting this payout of some awesome weapon or something, and it has yet to come. So I'm just like and as soon as I get a weapon that I like, I use it and it breaks. Frustrating as all hell.
Yep.
So yeah, and then
everybody
also,
has to acclimate to that. I don't know if I ever truly got over that.
He'll be really excited when he fights the little guardians in the test of strength shrines because
I've done one of those.
Yeah, those are some good weapons.
Did you get laser weapons?
No, I didn't get a laser weapon.
The very first time I ever
a cool bow.
Beat one of those shrines and I got a laser weapon, I was like, holy. I never saw that in any of the preview coverage and it blew my mind. I was like, what Star Wars mess is this? They're laser weapons.
Awesome.
You get to like use some of their weaponry.
That makes me happy. Yeah, no, I didn't get any laser. I got their like the little his axe or whatnot and the shield or whatnot. But it took me forever because I found
the axe should glow, right? It's all blue.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the axe glows.
That's the laser weapons.
Yeah,
they come in all shapes and forms.
Guardian weapons.
Okay, see, when you say lasers, I'm looking like pew pew, like the laser.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those. I've had plenty of those. Those are cool.
Their shield is great. I think there's an axe, a spear. Is there a sword?
There is a sword. There's multiple swords.
I've had all of those. I've had a bunch of those, and the spear is pretty dope. The axe is dope. But yeah, the first test of strength, it was like a minor, or I can't remember if it was a minor or like a major, but it took me forever to actually figure out how to beat the daggone guardian because all of my weapons were too weak to do enough damage to really do anything. So I finally did a shrine where I got the blade of duality or whatnot, which actually did enough damage to take him down. So it was just a matter of dodging, hitting, shooting him with fire arrows, backing up, letting him run to the pillars and beat him up that way.
The major test of strength I recommend waiting until the end to do because that's very much end game stuff.
Yeah, you definitely haven't got through one of those yet. I can't imagine.
They have 3 weapons on one guardian. Or 2 weapons and a shield. It's nuts.
They're big. They're very high level, and if you're like early in the game, you will not have enough weapons to get through. You will run out of weapons.
This dude had like 15,000 health or something, and he had a sword. He had, I think, a shield. He had some laser weapon, and he like did some spinny crap. I was like, "What is this guy?
Yep.
He needs to die." So he died, and I got a cool bow for it. So yeah, it's been fun just trying to make my way downtown. Basically, I found the house that you can buy. Yeah. So now I need to get my rupees up. I need to figure out these divine beasts and just, keep chugging away at it.
I can't wait to
find these 9 bajillion Korok seeds. And oh my God.
I can't wait to hear you play your first beast. That I want to hear. I want to hear the story. If you're not on the show, you got to at least record it so we can play it on the show.
He'll be so mad.
Yeah, I know. I know, exactly. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, he's not going to like this at all. But he might.
Is it going to be a cakewalk or it's going to be real difficult and piss me off?
So here's the thing. When you know how to do it, it's really not hard. The problem is when you don't know, it's elaborate. It's like a labyrinth. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. All right.
Pieces of the beasts.
Everything is the dungeon. So it's not like you just complete it's not like you complete room after room after room and you get to the end. The whole thing is a puzzle. The entire thing. So you're moving levers and rooms and floors and things to make things appear that you couldn't see before and all this. There are things like that are going on, things like that in motion. And you have to use your runes. They're almost forced. You got to use them to stop things that are spinning or start things that are spinning. And all of that, it all plays together. You know, so there's like this huge environmental thing that's going on, and you have to use all of your stuff to manipulate it. And,
looking back, I would have saved myself over 2 hours of doing each for one beast, at least 2 hours each, and headaches by going and looking at a guide.
That's the thing. And when you look at a guide, you're like, oh, that sounds so simple.
Nope.
But maybe I'm just dumb.
No.
But when I played it the first time, I didn't look at a guide for those, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I promise you, if you spend more than an hour on it, you're going to want to do a guide.
Yeah.
I'm like Downey. I'm not giving up. No, there will be no guide. I will figure out the daggone puzzle.
That's what I said.
Right.
I still haven't used a guide.
Yeah, I'm not using a guide. No.
I'm not using a guide, but I am.
Takes away the
Take that back. I used a guide for the last 2 memories.
You know, I want to talk about that, but I'm using a map. I'm using a map just to kind of find all my dungeons, because what I'm doing, I'm still playing the game, of course, and what I've done is I unlocked all the towers first. I started some of the side quests like Terrytown, things that I already talked about. I started getting some armor sets, and then what I've started doing recently is I am going region by region, and I'm just kind of working counterclockwise from Farron Tower all the way around, completing every shrine and getting every memory in every region all the way around. So speaking of your memory thing, after last week, you know, I said, I don't think anybody could just play this game without ever referencing any guide at all or seeing something and find all the memories. And of course, in Discord, I was immediately greeted with 7 people who said they did just that. Now, I'm not going to call them liars. Absolutely not. That's what they said they did. That's what they did. But as I started on my second journey here, I also encountered memories that you don't get until you found other memories. So once again, I'm like, how did you just do it? You just stumbled across that.
Because Piganko tells you.
Yeah, but the people that said that, the people that said that.
Who is Piganko?
The people that said that didn't say they used Pikango. Pikango is the painter who's in the village.
Hair is awesome. His hair is pulled back, and it's like a paintbrush out the back of the ponytail, dude. He's a painter.
Yep. He tells you where the memories are.
If you go and show him your tablet with the image, he'll tell you where it is. But again, that doesn't fix. There are some that you can't access until you find the others. So you could go and show him, right? Right. But you could go and show it to him, and he'd tell you where it is. You go there, and it's not there. And then the other day, I was getting the one in the Akala region, and I was all over it. Like I walked around it, must have 3 times until it started to glow. I was right on it. It wasn't glowing, and I kept looking and looking and looking and looking. And it was. So I don't know. I'm sure people can. Maybe I'm just bad at games. I still just think it's.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, it's just weird.
You're bad at aiming. I mean, I'm gonna give you.
I am not bad at aiming.
To be fair, the only memory that you cannot get once you've gotten all the other ones is the final memory.
Yes.
You have to go to Impa. She explains where to go, and it's pretty easy if you've already, gotten that far in the game where it would be.
I'm just gonna guess it's probably in Hyrule Castle or something.
Nope.
Yeah, it's not. But it's I stand by everything I said about this whole memory system. I'm glad people just found it on their own. They're so good. They just walked across. They found all of them. They were right where they were supposed to be. I'm glad you took that path. I never took those paths. So I'll just say that.
I'm shocked because you try to find everything. You break games by getting stuck under things. Trying to find things that aren't there.
I know, which is why I bring it up in a shocking fashion, which is why I'm shocked when everybody's like, Psh, Donnie, everybody does that. Because I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to call them liars. I believe them when they say they did. I believe them. But didn't happen for me.
Let's talk about the memories for a second. So that's basically the story.
It is.
Yep.
Oh my God, her voice really drove me nuts when I first heard it. I was like, ugh. They couldn't get a better voice for this. Like,
ugh.
She's the best Zelda we've had.
She's the only Zelda voice we've had.
No, she's the best Zelda we've had. I'm talking about in any kind of iteration of Zelda. And I think her voice acting is what makes me so drawn to her.
Okay.
Really?
I think her voice acting is fine.
I was like,
I think it has moments where it does well, and I think it has moments it doesn't do well. I think when she's supposed to be dramatic and the amped up memories, I don't think it's as good as when she's being calm and stoic. So when everything's ramping up and she's screaming and in despair, I don't think it comes off as well. So, but again,
I haven't come across any screaming or despair. It was just her talking, and I'm just like, oh my god, your voice! I want to punch you. Like, this is terrible.
You're just getting telepathic things with her and Link, right?
Oh my god, I want to punch you.
Like, you don't talk. We need a translator because your voice is awful. And Link just looked, no words. I'm just like, really? We couldn't give him a line, like one line.
I don't want any lines. No, don't do that. They did that to Pikachu in the movie, and it was terrible, and you can never take it back. I don't want that. Don't do that ever.
We're getting Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I know, but the other Pikachu movie
I know
is awful. It's terrible. So, no. That can go, as much as you say you want it, you could get it and immediately regret ever wanting it. So I'd rather not have it.
Dev, I think once you get memories and you put a face to her voice, I think it'll be better.
I've got memories. I have a face. She has a voice, and it
I know what she looks like.
Well, which
I
one
don't
have
like
you
how she
seen?
sounds.
Yeah, it was like there was one where there was like what was it? They were doing some ceremony for Link, and she's talking, and you have all the other guardians or whatnot, and like her voice, it's just like, oh god, why this voice actor? No,
she's meant to be very pissed off in that scene, so
that is not what came across at all.
I always hate.
Ugh.
I never like criticizing voice acting because it's so personal and everybody's so different.
Oh, I know.
That's when they always brought up. It's hard. Everybody has different stuff.
I agree. I did not work for me at all. It just didn't work. I just no.
I started hunting.
Other than that, the game was fun.
As I say, I also started hunting guardians. I finally got to the point where I was like, let's go clear some of these dudes out. And
get your master sword.
That's where not yet. I've got 14 hearts, and I've got 2.5 stamina wheels. I've cleared out a few regions. I think I've done 60 shrines or so far. But I do love getting to the point where, you see those stalkers walking around, and you just start walking towards them. You're like, let's get this done. That's when the combat really ramps up, and you really start to have a little bit more fun with that part of it.
See,
you're not just...
that's what I want.
Yeah,
I am tired of running for my
50
life.
hours away, but yeah, you'll get there.
50 hours.
That's the other thing. Like, I feel like I'm going to be playing this game until 2021. Like, I feel like there's so much to do in this game, and I have so little time to actually play it.
It's a dense game.
It feels like it's going to take me forever, and I am tired of fighting Bobokins with their sticks and their clubs. I am tired of running from everything else because I feel like it's going to one-shot me and kill me if I don't dodge in time.
You need at least 13 hearts, which is however many of those shrines, right? 13 times 4. So you need at least 50 shrines or so to do that. And I would say you need at least 2 stamina wells. Like, you need that to kind of do the basics, to get, like,
I've
the bare minimum to get through. Because you can offset all of that with all the recipes that we talked about. I wanted to ask you this, Caroline. I don't even remember. On last week's show, did I talk about, like, farming durians?
Oh, no, you didn't talk about that.
So this is another tip I can give everybody, because I do it every time I play. In addition to scanning my amiibo, I go to Farron Tower, which is down there. It's the tropical beach tower down there in the bottom. And off that tower, right off of Farron Tower, like while you're on it, if you look across the way, I can't tell you left or right because I don't know which way you're looking on the tower, but there's a little cliff right off of it. And you'll see these typically there's 2 Lizalfos there. But that's where durians are. Those are like the yellow pineapples. That's what those are. So if you're wondering the hell a durian is, the pineapple thing. But they grow there. They grow on like every tree. There's 10 there every day. You can go grab 10 of them. Not always 10. 5, 10, something like that. But there's a bunch of them there. So you hop over there, grab as many as you can, fight the dudes if you want, take theirs. And there's a bunch of like hardy thistles over there too. If you cook these durians together, put 3 of them together, 4 of them together, 5 of them together, it will give you a recipe that extends your hearts. It'll give you temporary hearts. Like 2 of them will give you 5, 3 of them gives you 8, 4 of them gives you like 12, 5 durians cooked together and eaten gives you 16 temporary hearts on top of what you already have.
Yep.
So, like I said, once you get to 13 hearts, you're good. That's what you need to get to the Master Sword. and you can just farm the rest of your hearts from there. Actually, what I plan on doing once I get to the Master Sword and pull it, I'm actually going to exchange the hearts I have back for more stamina, because stamina is really the resource you want.
By the way, you can.
That's what I've been doing. I've been putting everything into stamina.
Stamina is what you're going to want.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Not being able to climb does not work for me. It's not okay.
You can't pull the Master Sword with temporary hearts either. So you can't like cook it up and like go scam the game. It doesn't work that way.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Can I get the...
Gotta have the actual hearts. So you can dump everything you have into stamina, and then when you have enough of it to pull the hearts, you can go and convert your stamina back to hearts, go pull the sword, and then put it back into stamina. You know, just kind of speed it up a little bit. You can do that too. But that durian...
It's probably going to be a while.
So my fear is that you and Kyle and Josh, with the time commitment that this game has and all the other games that are coming, that you'll give up on it.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Yeah, that's the biggest fear.
I enjoy Zelda too much to just give it up, and it's easy because I can put my Switch in my back pocket and take it with me and play. I have yet to play Zelda on like the screen docked. It's always been handheld, so it just goes to me wherever, and I can just play 10 minutes here, 5 minutes.
How good is this game in handheld?
Fine.
I know it loses a lot of resolution and everything from the top, but even I was playing it the other day, playing it handheld at the office, and I'm still just sitting there thinking, like, there has never been a handheld game like Breath of the Wild, ever.
No.
There are a lot of handheld games. There are even open-world handheld games, not like Breath of the Wild. It's a big console game in the palm of your hands, you know? It has that feel. You know, it feels like big magnitude and physics and things. It doesn't feel like a portable game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be derogatory, but, like, if you've played a Vita or a 3DS, you know, like, it doesn't feel like a portable game. Like, certain times you play portables, you feel like you have limitations.
Right.
Breath of the Wild feels like a console game on the go.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's impressive.
Absolutely.
Very impressive.
Cooking. I'm not a fan. I don't want to make.
Ooh, it's so much. It's so good when you know how to deploy it correctly.
Vital though, yeah. Like once you start getting a ton of ingredients, you're gonna be wanting to do it all the time.
See, I've seen all that, and there's always little hints like cook this. If you find the recipes, it'll give you this. I'm like, I don't want to
give you like a little quick cheat.
No.
He gave you the durian cheat.
Yeah, I did give you the durian cheat, so that's a good one. You don't do that every day you play. But also, I mean, it's very simple. It's not even really a cheat. You've probably already figured this out, but it's very easy to cook when you just look at the keywords, right? So all the mighty stuff, if you cook that stuff together, it raises your attack power, right? All the hardy stuff raises your hearts and your defenses. The quick, swift stuff raises your speed. You know,
I'm trying to think what else is in there.
The one thing that I would suggest is make sure that you start learning how to do some basic elixirs. So in addition to cooking food, you can cook the monster parts that you have with bugs. So you want to take bokoblin guts and mix it with a cricket, and you'll get a potion to increase your stamina. You know, so that's a big thing.
Is you'll figure this out when you go up Death Mountain, and it's pretty much unbearable for you to get until you get into Goron City to get the fireproof stuff.
It just is impossible for you to get there. It's too hot. You can't walk
literally
up there.
You burst into flames, and if you have anything on you,
freeze to death.
Yeah, if you have anything on you that's wooden, it will immediately just burst into flame. So you have to have metal things, and you have to drink this elixir that they tell you how to make on your way up there, which is you catch these lizards and you brew the lizards into a stew, and it gives you 7 minutes worth of fireproof ability. So but I mean, there's places that you have to go and you have to utilize these elixirs in order to get there, to get the kind of gear that you need that would give you that permanent effect.
Damn it. Gotta cook.
It's one of those things, and that's honestly, it's even more than the time commitment from the board with video games guys. It's the willingness to learn. You know, you can't fight the world and play this game like you've played the other games you know how to play. It's not like the other games. And I think that's probably the reason why so many people really like the game and they talk about it being transcendent and all that, because it's not like any other game out there. And it's also why the people that don't like the game maybe don't like it, because it's not like any other game you've played before. You have to learn the world. You have to do the things the world wants you to do. You know, you can't play this Devil May Cry and things like that. You can't do that.
It's definitely the Dark Souls of frickin' Zelda. I totally understand that, because the combat alone, you'll get one shot if you don't dodge right, if you don't move out of the way, if you don't have the right stuff. So it definitely feels like a Dark Souls version of a Zelda game.
Dude, when you start hunting
And
those
yeah,
stalkers, when you start hunting stalkers, it's so good. That shield parry, they shoot that giant laser beam at you, and you knock that bad boy right back. You start chopping off their legs.
What the heck are you talking about?
And then what they're called? Guardian stalkers, the ones that walk around?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I just
ones that I run for my life from.
Yeah, like the big ones. The ones that big, like move fast. They're called stalkers, right?
Dev, there are some that fly in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, God dang. I already
there's
got
some with
one
wings.
shot out of the air by one. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get off this
There's
tower.
some
You ain't got to
there,
shoot
yeah.
me in the back. That's mean.
Oh, I feel like such a badass, man. Just cut off their legs, like stare them right in the face, and like, you can't go nowhere. You got nothing.
Yep.
You got nothing, big fella.
Man. See, I'll be there in 2020. We'll have a discussion about that when I get there.
Dev's like, I love this game, guys.
I mean, I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy it.
Maybe this will be his new
break
Diablo
my
2.
brain.
Maybe he won't be playing Diablo anymore, and he'll just be playing this.
I don't play Diablo. It's Destiny.
Wait,
Get it right.
Destiny. Okay,
woman.
they start with these, and
Wow.
they've both been like, I don't know. I don't play other consoles.
It's obvious.
clearly.
Lord of mercy.
So you have the bursting into flames in the hot places. You freeze to death in the cold places.
Yep.
How do I stop from getting electrocuted when it's freaking raining?
Rubber.
Besides getting
Yeah,
rid of
you
my
got to
metal.
take off all the metal stuff.
Well, you
just
take off
drop
all
it
the
on the
metal
floor?
stuff, but once you get
sorry?
the rubber armor, and you can keep all the metal stuff on. When you get electrocuted, it won't phase you.
That's true.
Okay, that's what I needed, because otherwise I was
There
like,
is
okay,
an
well, I'm just gonna drop all of this stuff and then it gets.
No,
it's
don't
gone.
drop it off. Just take it, like unequip it. Just unequip
unequip
all the metal stuff. Unequip your sword,
see-
unequip any of your armor that has metal, any shield that has metal, unequip it all.
Yeah.
Go
See, I did
commando.
that, and when you go into the inventory, it still shows it as getting the electric charge.
It's just showing you that it could.
just
As
showing
long as you
it
don't
could.
have it equipped, you won't get struck by lightning. Now, there's actually a shrine.
Dropping all of this stuff?
There's actually a shrine where you have
Yeah.
to get hit by lightning. So remember that too.
Yeah,
That's an
there
interesting
is.
one. Yeah.
So there is an elixir that makes you unshockable, is what it's the effect's called. But once you have the full set of rubber gear, you will be able to just walk around with all of your metal on and not get phased. So
Yeah, just unequip your metal stuff.
Cool. Yeah, because I was wandering and I'm like, oh, it's raining. Oh, it's lightning. Boom. What happened here? I'm dead. Great.
I was
I feel
fighting.
like it gives you a lot of warning before it happens, though. You get about 30 seconds of getting zzz, zzz on you before anything comes down on you.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, what is this? And all of a sudden, boom. I'm like, oh, that was fun. And then I go into my inventory and I see all the stuff lighting up. I'm like, well, I guess I got to drop all this. Dropped it all. It gets shocked. It was stuff that was going to break anyway. It's a rusty claymore. What am I going to do with that? Who cares?
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
going to do another one of those
lightning.
in 5 minutes. So it got
Don't
struck by
get rid
lightning.
of
It's
your
gone.
edge of duality. Your edge of duality is really
Oh,
good.
he's broke that thing.
My edge of duality is broken. Like it took out
You'll get more.
a guardian.
He got a
and
cool
he just, like,
sword and he
it's
went
gone.
off and tried to slay things with it until it broke.
I
wait
slayed
till-
the guardian.
Nice.
Wait till he gets the royal guard stuff from the castle.
Yeah, that's when the good
That's
stuff
where
is.
it
The castle's
is,
where all
yeah.
the good loot's at, by the way. It's a little shame that, like, you should probably go there before you intend on finishing the game. Like, just go sneak your way in. Once you can kind of take out some guardians, go sneak your way into the castle a little bit. Find some cool stuff. That's a good place to go farm some cool gear. Let's move on. We're not going to move off of this quite quickly because we have a few things in here. One of the things that we have is a clip from Hero Shade. As I mentioned in our Discord, as I mentioned in the chat and on the show last week, we are encouraging everybody to share their stories with us, be a part of the show, record an audio clip, which Jared did. And so we've got it. Or is it. No, Steven. Sorry, Jared.
Yeah.
I got Hylian on my. We've been talking Stadia too much. So we're gonna go to the clip and come back.
Hello, Nintendo Shack. My name is Steven, also known as Hero Shade on Discord, and I wanted to share a couple of thoughts and experiences I had with Breath of the Wild, both now as we return to Hyrule and the very first time I played. With regards to our current adventure, some of the things that have really impressed me are, one, I think the thing that everyone keeps saying is there's always something new to find. This is my third time playing through the game. I played through regular mode, master mode as soon as it came out, and then I'm playing through master mode again now. And I'm still finding new things, new Koroks that I didn't know existed, little towns or buildings that I didn't come across before, treasure chests I didn't know about, or even just coming up with new ways to circumvent some of the puzzles and challenges that they put forth. It's been really fun to experience a game that has so much in it that you can find new things even on your third playthrough. The other thing that I really, really enjoyed this time through is, again, the sense of being completely underpowered for everything that you're about to face. Especially in master mode, you just can't do enough damage to really fight against most of the hordes you'll come against, the little, bokoblin groups that you'll find. You just don't stand a chance unless you can get them one-on-one, and I love that feeling of I can't take this on, I've got to escape, or I have to find something really, really strong, or really upgrade my armor before I stand a chance here. And that's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed that. So all in all, this Return to Hyrule has just been a blast. But I did want to share specifically an experience I had the very first time I played the game, and now kind of re-experiencing that same feeling again. When the Switch and the Breath of the Wild very first came out, my wife had just moved to Michigan. She was starting her career and had moved into the apartment we were going to be living in while I was in Utah finishing my last semester of school. So we had been living apart for about 2-3 months, and we were about 2 months from getting married, and Breath of the Wild and the Switch happened to be coming out the Friday of my spring break, which I had already made plans to go out and spend with my wife. Unfortunately, she didn't have any extra vacation days to take off, so she would be working while I was out there, but I could still go out and visit her and spend time with her. So I remember my classes finished Friday. I anxiously was waiting at the door for the Switch to arrive. I was hoping to have a lot of time to play it, but it took so long for the game to arrive that I got maybe an hour of playtime on the TV before I had to head down to the airport. So really my very first experience with Breath of the Wild was on the plane, which was just mind-blowing to me at the time because I already had a sense for how big Breath of the Wild is, but I really underestimated what I was about to experience, let alone the fact that I was about to experience it on a plane. Such a triple-A game from 10,000 feet in the air. So I remember I tried it all the different ways. I had it handheld, I had it tabletop with the detached Joy-Cons and everything, and just had a blast with it. And I got all sorts of really fun and weird looks on the plane because it was either the day of or the day after the Switch had been released. So very few people had even seen it in person, and just had such fun with it. But then the whole time I'm looking forward to being able to play this on the TV while my wife's at work during the week. And luck would have it that while my wife was gone, 3 of the 5 days, the power went out almost the entire time that she was gone at work. So all that time I had planned on playing Breath of the Wild on the TV, I couldn't anymore, even though I brought the dock and everything. So instead I found myself on the couch playing in handheld most of the week, and I had brought a little power charger or whatever, a little battery pack that I was constantly plugging into the Switch to keep it from dying, since it's only got the 2 to 3 hour battery life while you're playing Breath of the Wild. But it was still so much fun, and I had very fond memories because it was the first time I had seen my wife in a while, and I was experiencing this brand new console and this new game, and it was such a great experience even if I was on the couch playing in handheld the whole time. And ironically, when we talked about doing this Return to Hyrule, my wife and I had just made plans to fly out to visit 2 friends of ours who were getting married. And so the very first opportunity I had to actually return to Hyrule was on the plane back to Utah to fly out for this wedding. So it was really neat to kind of have that same experience 2 years later of playing Breath of the Wild on the plane, and it was still just as impressive as it was then that I can play such a AAA console game anywhere I want to, and get totally immersed and lost in this world. So that's the story I wanted to share. I know it's a little bit about, the wonder and amazement of the Switch, but I think it's a little bit ubiquitous with Breath of the Wild, that they almost go hand in hand with the way that they really impress and inspire, and are just incredible experiences when put together. So thank you guys again for putting together this Return to Hyrule. It's been so much fun. I really haven't made it very far, but I've enjoyed every bit so far, and I've enjoyed seeing everyone's stories and experiences on Discord, and I look forward to hearing them when the podcast airs as well. So thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Caro. Quick shout out to Jason. We miss you. Hopefully you can come back to the Shack soon. And thank you again for all the content you put out. I love it. All right. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steven. Hero Shade. We too miss Jason Lacey.
We miss Jason.
Yeah, we miss Jason quite a bit. Love having Dev here, though. I must admit here. I don't know. Is it trade up, trade down? Push? Even push?
It's a push. It's a push. Jason's cool.
Flexipose will trade one Devin for one Jason. I'm just saying, like, we could open up negotiations. No. But yeah, no, Hero Shade, back on point, man. Thank you so much for hearing the call, answering the call, sending in the voice clip. I think it's really cool we get to do this. I wanted to bring other people into the show. So cool you played, Breath of the Wild for the first time on a plane, having such a good story. And that's kind of what this Return to Hyrule was. I mean, it's the first time I met Caroline. It was a big thing for Shaq, right? Like Shaq came all out of this like Switch, humble Switch beginnings off of the Wii U.
Sure.
We did so much of that launch stuff and so much of that Zelda stuff. I mean, it was big for us too, which is kind of fun to remember all that stuff. But Devin, anything else before we move on to our news block?
What's all this master stuff?
Master mode?
The master mode, yeah. What is that? Is
Don't
it a
worry about
DLC
that.
thing, or is that like Game Plus?
It is DLC, but it makes the game way harder. Way harder.
So,
Enemies regenerate their health if you don't kill them fast enough.
oh, that's dope.
And they're stronger. Yeah, they're
That's
stronger.
dope.
Yeah, definitely. That's the Dark Souls of Zelda games. Master mode.
That's the Demon Souls.
It's tough.
I was watching my friend play and beat Calamity Ganon the other day, and it took him 20 minutes because it kept regenerating health, and he had already gotten it down to 50.
Yeah.
So it's just nuts.
Wow.
But then
I'll check that out eventually.
the trials, man. The Master Trials. You gotta do that. You gotta get that DLC. So good. So rewarding.
It's rewarding.
Yeah, get
It's
the
just
DLC, get a bunch of amiibo.
Dev will break his sweat.
Get a
You don't have to
guide.
get the amiibo. I think the amiibo would help, though. The amiibo would help.
They
Caroline,
definitely enhance the experience.
we had a direct today.
We did. It's not a direct proper.
It's a direct. I don't care what they call it. It's a direct.
It's a showcase, but
If they are producing an edited video of announcements, it's a Nintendo Direct.
okay.
They can call it whatever the hell they want to call it. Still a Nintendo Direct. Let me ask you the question. Does it go into the Nintendo Direct archive that they have on their website? So if I go and open it up and I see all the Nintendo
I don't
Directs, is
know.
it listed?
I haven't checked.
I bet it is. And if
Maybe.
it is, counts as a Direct.
Okay.
It goes directly to your eyeballs and earlobes. It's a direct.
Yeah, I don't know why they've started like rebranding Directs. That's an interesting.
Well, don't you remember they had Direct, and then they had they were like the quick things where they would just go boom, 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 boom. What did they call those?
I have no idea.
Was it that just a
They
showcase?
called it. No, I think I know what you're talking about. They had that. I want to say it's the first one. It may not have been the first one, but I want to say it was like they did one of their early indie directs. They called it a mini direct.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
what
like
they're called, the minis.
18 minutes.
But
But like,
the first one they announced Blaster Master when they first announced it? Because that sounds familiar.
I don't think so.
I feel like it was like last summer.
So they kind of just like go down a list, and they show the list as they're going down them. And
It's
they have
dumb that they
breaks
have
between-
even have thresholds or categories for these at all. Who cares?
I
Just
know.
call it. I think what I think it is, if I could postulate before we break it all down, what I think it is I think their media and marketing people are scared that if they label a direct that it sets expectations too high.
Maybe.
So by saying it's a mini direct or something, that like kind of gets everybody in check. Which I don't.
Makes sense.
I would just rather you
makes
call
sense.
it Nintendo Direct Indie Showcase. That does
Yeah.
the exact same thing. Why, because then
I
it's
think-
like, is it a direct? Is it not a direct? Like, do we use the direct hashtag? Does direct trend? Do we call it showcase? Like, then it gets all weird. Like,
They are called Direct Minis. I'm looking right now.
yeah, just call it a direct. It is a direct. It is a direct. Nintendo is making a pre-recorded marketing video about game releases. That's a Nintendo Direct. It's like the definition of Nintendo Direct. So,
Yeah.
Caroline, tell us, this is your baby. I mean,
Is
this
it
first
really?
bullet,
Oh,
this
the first
first
one.
bullet's all about you, girl. So take your victory lap.
Do I have to gloat a little bit?
Yeah, you do. I would.
How many weeks has this been? So I feel like we were talking about this in January.
It's been a while since the Xbox, Nintendo rumors were all kind of getting all cozy, and
That's right. That's when it did start about.
Yep.
So this was at the beginning of this year, I believe. I don't think it was any time last year. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if like this meant Cuphead was on the way to Switch? And PSVG
never gonna
flagship-
happen. Oh my god,
PSVG
Caroline, it's so
flagship was
stupid.
like, why would they think that? You know, that's not. It's like,
Those damn Nintendo kids
I
over
was
there were
on
talking
that
about
show.
Cuphead's coming to the Switch. What a bunch of idiots.
flash
I was
forward
definitely on
to
that show. And
March
definitely
20th.
didn't think they coincided.
That's right, Dev. You were on there. Weren't
I was
you?
on that show with Kevin. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Why would
Why would they
think
even
that?
say that? It's so
It doesn't
irresponsible.
It doesn't coincide. But the question
Not
is,
in a million years.
if Xbox Live was not coming, would Cuphead still have come?
I think it's
question.
just all a matter of they're having a great relationship right now, and this all stems from a good relationship that's blooming between Nintendo and the big M, if you will. But at first, I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, certainly this isn't what I'm thinking it is. I'm looking at it, and then like as soon as the guy
I
put
knew
on
exactly
the
what
mask,
it was.
as soon as the guy put on the mask, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And there we go. It's a very interesting old style instructional video on how to pour milk. Don't splash it. It'll get all over you and ruin your day. And then Cuphead and Mugman just jump out. I have not played this game in the hopes that I kind of give myself a threshold of like 4 or 5 years. If it doesn't come within 4 or 5 years of being originally coming out on the platform that it was launched on, it's probably not going to get ported. That's my general rule. So like Hat in Time, Cuphead, those are games that I've been waiting on to see if they'll come to a Nintendo platform. Lo and behold, both of them are. So now I don't know. I think I'm probably going to pick it up day one. Knowing me, I like to pick up my things physically. And I think at some point they definitely will bring a physical through limited run games of Cuphead.
No. They're releasing Cuphead physical, period. I
Wait,
think that's
it's
already
coming out.
I think
It's
it's
like,
I think that was announced. Yeah, it'll be coming to store shelves. I believe. I believe-
thank God.
I want to say that's right. Maybe I'm. I had a lot of tweets today, thanks Caroline, but I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
I saw that today. Yeah, it's coming physical. There's a physical copy of Cuphead on the way. It may not be April 18th.
It is confirmed.
Yeah,
Yay.
but
my
I knew there's a
birthday, by the
physical
way.
one.
Well,
April 18th is my birthday. So.
That goes back to that
Same.
store listing for Cuphead and Ori. Both of those have been listed in
I
stores
got you.
before too. So just to piggyback off of your love, Ori's on the way too, and I'm totally rebuying Ori. I'll buy another copy of Ori to play.
I
with
can't
again,
wait for that.
Sure.
so
I'm not
just
getting
to-
Cuphead.
Well,
Nope.
I'm just to confirm, because a lot of people are excited, and we've been talking about all this physical stuff. Studio MDHR, this comes from Nintendo Life, will release the digital version on April 18th. The physical copy will arrive some point after DLC has been released to ensure it includes everything.
There you go.
So they're not going to bring the physical immediately. I don't think I don't mind holding out a little bit, just so long as I know it's coming.
The most important thing in this announcement has nothing to do with even the game. Devin, we witnessed a Nintendo employee say live on air, thanks to our friends at Microsoft,
Microsoft.
for letting us bring Cuphead to Switch. That's
Holy crap.
insane. That's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Like they acknowledged one another on their own marketing.
Rare
You bottom
replay.
feeders got to stick together to take out Sony on top. That's what.
That's
it is.
true. Survive together, right? Play together. No, I mean I'm right there with you.
My enemy is my friend.
It's true.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's big, and it makes you think that there's more behind the works. And we've heard things like Game Pass, and we've heard things like Ori and Xbox Live. There are all these things that are rumored to be in the works. I 100% believe that Ori is on the way, and we'll be eagerly excited. I don't know if we'll hear about it at E3, if it'll come out before then. That's an interesting thing.
I think when those rumors came out, Cuphead and Ori were mentioned together in the same rumor. I can't imagine if this is true that the other one wouldn't be.
I am wondering. Here's what I am wondering. I am wondering if they announce that Ori 2 arrives on Xbox, and the same day they announce that Ori comes to Switch. And I think that maybe that's why we didn't see Ori today, is that they're going to wait until Ori 2 is coming to Xbox this year. What a better way to, to prop up that sequel game than to say, oh, by the way, do you have a Switch? Yeah, Ori's over there too. You play with Xbox Live. And if this Game Pass thing ever comes true, that's a great way to promote both of those too. So, but that would be my guess if we're like looking down the road. But I'm super excited about Ori. Not super excited about Cuphead. I am with Team Kevin in this. Cuphead was the greatest thing I ever saw until I played it. And that's not to say it's bad. It's a great game. It's just a really hard game. And yeah, I mean, I think I beat the first like 2 worlds, and I just kind of had enough. I was like, okay, I don't need to be kicked in the teeth anymore. Than like, I got it. I'm good, guys. Beautiful animation, great game. I gotta go play something. I need to play, Spyro now. Like, I need to feel better about myself.
I'm just an animation buff.
Oh, it's so good. It's amazing good. Like, incredible good.
I mean, it deserves the awards that it's
Are you
won.
saying that you're into animation culture?
Shut up,
Yes,
Johnny.
she is. Animation.
For those of you guys
culture,
that
all
don't
of
know
that.
me, I did get my degree in graphic design, and I was going for an animation degree as well, but they didn't have animation available, so I'm into the illustration and animation thing.
Culture.
So graphic design culture. Got it.
No,
No,
animation
trust me,
culture.
graphic design culture
She's
is not
into
all-
50s cartoon culture?
It's 30s. It's 30s.
I stand corrected.
They
I
had color in the
apologize.
30s?
You know what's going to be weird? In another 10, 20 years, we're going to be in 30s culture. Again.
It's true. It's true. Very true. And we'll be streaming games, but that's a topic for another day.
Directly
All right,
to our
Donnie.
brains.
It's a
Directly to
topic
our
for
brains.
another day. What's next, Caroline?
Next, I was getting Oxenfree vibes from this. It's called Overland. It's a new take on the end of the world narrative. It is a squad turn-based strategy game, which basically you can't do everything you want to do on a certain map, so you have to choose your actions wisely. They're like, do you save your friend? Do you save the dog? Do you scavenge for food? What do you do here? Save the dog. The farther west you go, you start on the East Coast, Beast Coast. The farther west you go, the weirder things get.
As normal, as in real life.
Yeah.
So it makes
Yeah.
sense.
And they also randomly generate levels each time, so it's completely different experience.
Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme with indie games these days.
I know, it's
Procedurally
just-
generated levels.
Yeah, it's coming in the fall. So
I mean,
that's
I've a
some-
quick piece to say. I think I might be interested in this game. Probably not day one. Probably on a sale. Like, I'm not into it, but it looks interesting. I wouldn't mind experiencing it. So it'll be on my radar. But
It reminded me of Oxenfree, just for the exploration kind of teenagers getting into trouble type stuff.
Can I do the next one?
Sure.
My friend Pedro coming in June.
Yeah, buddy.
It's gonna announce at E3, right? It's gonna drop that
Mi
day.
amigo Pedro.
It's going to drop that day, and I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play the crap out of it because the game looks awesome. My friend Pedro, the Devolver Digital standout from last year. It's got this whole bullet time platforming thing where you can kick balls into enemies and frying pans and all kinds of stuff and shoot them, and it looks awesome. I'm
It's
totally
on
in for
crack.
My friend Pedro, and we were talking about it earlier this week, right? We had Nintendo Super Dad in the Discord. We were talking about the things we could come up with, what might be shown. We had all these indie games. The very first thing out of my lips was, I wonder if we get to see My friend Pedro again, because it seems about time. So I was happy to see it here. I keep a little list. I actually have it right here. I'm looking at it. I keep a little list of indie games that I'm excited for. And I currently have 7. I have 7 indie games, and 2 of them are on this list. One of them is brand new, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But My friend Pedro is at the top of that list. So
Did we
super
mention
excited.
that it's a console exclusive?
No, and that's a big get.
Yeah.
I feel like
Is
it's a
it?
big get.
Really?
Is it? Yeah, that's a good thing. It's like, is it? Because I definitely feel like Twitter, like at E3 last year, My friend Pedro had headlines. People are talking about it. So
Yeah.
making it a console exclusive feels like a decent little thing for me. But at the same time, I realize it is an indie game. I don't think anybody's going out there to buy a console for My friend Pedro. You should be able to play it on PC too, I'd imagine. You're going to be able, yeah, it's console exclusive. But if I only owned an Xbox right now, I'd be upset. Like, I'd want to play that game because it's been, if you were to ask me, Donnie, top 10 games you want to play in 2019, January 1st, My friend Pedro would have been on that list. So I mean,
It's just funny to me.
it would have been.
The
5
game
years
looks
ago,
awesome.
it was just like, yeah, I like My Friend Pedro. It's like, what game did you say? What's it
My
called?
friend Pedro. Looks awesome.
Yeah, I remember when you first were talking about that from E3. I was like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah,
What,
right?
Pedro, huh? What?
Took one trailer.
And
I
then
was
saw
like,
it
this
and
game
was
looks amazing.
Devolver, yes, thank you. We will have some of that.
Yes.
I like the way they phrased it. Violent ballet.
Yeah.
Violent ballet. He is doing
Exactly
some
what it is.
spinny pirouette moves. All right, I'm taking the next one, which is Bizarre. I don't know if I want to ever decide if I wanted to be an Uber or a Lyft driver. This would be my way of figuring if I wanted to do it. Neocab, which is basically a simulator for rideshare driving. You are the last living person, human driver in a city that's completely automated. So I guess everything else is robots, or all the cars
Let
are.
me ask you a question. Do they stream games, and have they lost all archival and preservation of games that came before them? Is that a reality in this world?
I'm just
It's gotta
not.
be, right?
I'm just not going to ask. I'm going to go get Skyward King and Delvin Cox and Matt Knight and everybody to come and back me up and just talk for me, because that's what happened in that Twitter feed earlier
Oh,
today.
we're going to have Stadia.
Whoa. Yeah.
We're going to have Stadia
Johnny and
conversations.
Jace, that's all you need. That's
We're
all
going to
you
have
need.
Stadia conversations.
I realize, but what I'm saying is, like, I was like, I'm just going to say what I believe and then back out. So for those of you guys that don't know,
And then tag Donnie.
we're having
Right.
we're having a back and forth debate about the future of
The
gaming.
amazing future of gaming. Yes, we are.
4K, 60 frames per second, as long as you got good internet.
I'm just all about the
Can't
play
beat that.
the play button built into YouTube. I can't tell you how
think-
big that
care
is.
I
That's
don't care
huge.
about that at all.
It's huge.
Everybody needs fiber first, but anyway, Neocab is coming this summer.
Yeah, Neocab's a big pass for me. There was nothing about this
Yeah.
interesting.
The art is really pretty. Like, I like the hand drawn stuff. It's nice. It looks like it's got good animation.
Are you buying this game?
Heck no.
Okay, then.
I
Like,
saw
that's
the
really what we
art
should
and was
say.
like, oh, that looks cool. Then I saw the game was like, oh, pass.
Uber driver, the game.
Driver. Yeah.
It'd be more interesting if it was actually people and like they told like really raunchy stories and stuff. I'd be interested then.
Apparently,
You
there
want,
is.
you want
some
Taxi
story
Cab
aspect,
Confessions,
but-
the video game.
You can't tell me that that wouldn't be a good narrative adventure game.
I'd rather just watch the show. Why
Would
I
you
wanna play
would you rather play that game or Taxi Cab for Robots game?
Ooh.
Because I'm pretty sure it's the first one. I'm pretty sure it's the first one. I want to take the next one.
You want to take the next two because I think they're both up your alley.
No, they're not. The Red Lantern, the Iditarod dog sled game. As I said on Twitter, I am in on dog sled game. Absolutely. Has Ashley Birch, voiceover, almost probably unmistakable, almost instantly recognizable. She's Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, if you didn't know,
Yep.
and Chloe from Life is Strange. Great actress, but more so than that, the art style. The art style is beautiful. It reminds me of Firewatch. That's the first thing I said is like the style reminds me
yeah.
of Firewatch. I'm more excited though that this seems to be a first-person perspective, like walking sim game that you don't walk in. And for the love of me, we've had all these walking sims where you walk around and you find things and experiment. We've never had one that actually like put you in a vehicle and let you move faster. So I'm wondering, like, does this not feel so slow? And if it doesn't, like, I'm actually very excited about that. That might be something new and fresh. It's procedurally generated. It's a roguelite.
Yeah.
And what I understand about that from the little bit that I read about the game, they just launched a website. They said 2019. I don't know how far along they are, but for them just launching a website, like the website is barren. So they're either being very tight to the chest or they're not that far along. So I don't know how much I'm anticipating this game coming anytime soon. But from what I've understood from the roguelite stuff that they've mentioned on Twitter is that basically there are 1,000 different encounters that you can encounter based on the choices in the past decide which you decide to go in. So it's not like procedurally generated like a dungeon crawler like some of these things that we know, and we'll talk about a few more here soon. It's more like there are a lot of different paths you can take and experience the story in different ways and different things that can happen to you, which is exciting. And yeah, the art looks great. The voiceover looked amazing. And if I can do a shout out for like a new Netflix show, have you seen the Netflix show called Losers? There's an
I've
entire
seen
episode
advertisements for it.
on a girl who's raced the Iditarod and she's come in second like 8 times. She's like the dog sled racing version of Phil Mickelson. She's like the lovable loser that like everybody loves and roots for every year. And it was a really cool story that she had, and I saw a lot of parallels between that and this trailer. And this narrative adventure stuff I really like. You know, you guys know that. I've always brought those up. Life is Strange, Edith Finch, Ethan Carter, Firewatch. Like, I really love these games. This one looks very interesting because, like, Ashley Birch does such a good way of conveying, like, a character. And even in this trailer, it took, like, 10 seconds for me, and I was like, I am in. You know, she said, she was talking about, like, she was getting in a van with her dog, right? And she was talking about, like, who she was, and she was like, I'm a disappointment. So I've decided I'm going to do something with my life. And I think that, not that experience, I'm going to go race, you know, I'm going to go be a dog sled racer, but I think that moment where somebody's like, I got to pull myself together and go do something. I got to show myself what I'm capable of. That's an intriguing story that we all can get behind. I think everybody's kind of been there somewhere along the way. So I'm very intrigued. I don't know much about the team, but they claim that they're veterans of a bunch of first-person narrative adventure games. Maybe my expectations are getting the best of me, but this trailer combined with these facts have me expecting something really grand. This is right there behind my friend Pedro and my indie list. My indie list for 2019, by the way, is that Sayonara Wild Hearts game. You remember that from the last Indie Direct game?
You want that one
Yeah, I want that. Soundfall, which I'm going to bring up in a little bit. Have either of you heard of this game called Soundfall?
I want to say I have, but
not all that different than this Cadence game we're going to talk about.
Okay.
The Red Lantern After Party, which is you go and try to out-party the devil. It's from the Oxenfree folks. My friend Pedro, The Sea of Solitude, which is this Wind Waker-ish thing that's coming to Xbox that we saw at E3 last year. And then Tunic, a.k.a. Zelda Fox, which looks dope.
Literally Zelda.
Probably not getting it this year. May not even get that game next year. It's one person making the entire game. So, but yeah, if anybody cared about my little indie games, those are the indie games I have my eyes on. So the Red Lantern is probably my highlight from this entire show, in all seriousness. It's new, it's fresh. I hadn't seen it before. It's not, you know, unlike my friend Pedro, which I had already seen all that stuff before. This was brand new and shot directly up. I was like, oh, I want this game tomorrow. So excited.
Cool. I was surprised you were not going to go for this one then. The next one on the list was Darkwood, because it's a horror game. This is a
I was
game.
thinking the same thing. It looked like it was right up your alley.
Yeah, but the whole randomized rogue stuff, you can play it over and everywhere and infinite, and like that really turns me off in a lot of games.
Didn't you just say that was the game we were just talking about?
I realized that when I was looking at the notes. But it's different because one of them appears to be story generated and the other one just appears to be like dungeon generated.
Right.
Know? So I think that's the difference for me.
Yeah. Top-down perspective, for those of you guys that watch the direct, it's like you're literally looking at his shoulders and head, and it's randomized areas and locations with each playthrough. That is coming in May.
Hard pass.
Yeah, same.
Poor Darkwood.
Yeah. Oh. Donnie,
You want me
you
to take...
go with I thought we were going back and forth.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Katana Zero, Jason game. This is what a Jason game sounds like. If I was to tell you what is a Jason game, you would say 80s neon synth-inspired action platformer with, like, awesome combat controls.
Has to be pixel, too.
Stylish pixel platforming action game. That's what this is. You know, like The Messenger.
Me and Jason
like Dead Cells.
The same game because this thing looks awesome.
It does look really cool.
Tell us why.
Why? Look at the combat.
Well, I'm telling you.
I get
Tell
to
the
run
listeners.
around in an 80s synth looking thing. I'm neon. I can control things with my mind. I can knock back bullets with a katana.
I do like that. That's cool. You get to slow down time. The power-ups are cool. I'm with you there. That's pretty neat.
I mean, it just looks dope. And first of all, you give me two things in the game. You give me a bow or a katana, and
true.
I'm already sold.
Yeah, that's true.
I love you.
If you give a bow, that's a Devin game.
I'm ready to go. So I mean, this takes me back to like NES days. It's one of these like kind of side scroll them, go up and down through the levels. I've got weapons, I've got power ups, I've got a sword. I can do some crazy flashy stuff. Kind of reminds me of like a Strider type game, but set in like this neon synth, and I'm all about it. So
let me ask you
give
this.
me more.
Are you? I say this knowing that we can never have enough good games. All right. So with that said, is there any inclination to be a little opposed to the fact that we have so many indie games that appear to be making like this same style of game? We just have
So,
so many, stylish, pixel-based platforming action games, roguelikes, procedural general level. It's like every indie game is that. I'm kind of tired.
Every time I see these, I'm like, there's two. I go through two things. One is like I have played this already on Nintendo. Like I've played this game. I've seen it a million times. So I'm like, I've done that, and that's what a lot of the indie games for me turn me off. I'm like, I've played this. Like that's why I don't pick up a lot of indie games. It's basically just a rehash of a lot of the stuff that I played when I was a kid on NES. They just look better. They run a little bit better because we've got better tech. But it's like I've played this. Then every now and again, there's something like this where I'm like, I probably would actually like to play that, or something like The Messenger. But for me, when it comes between this or The Messenger, I like this style better. So I would probably pick this up over picking up The Messenger.
So
But
you haven't picked up The Messenger yet?
no, I haven't. I probably won't after seeing this. I'd rather get this. But these type of games, I would only ever get on the Switch. And
Messenger
the reason
is
why
so
is because
good.
for me, I feel like that'll just play better handheld. Like I don't want to play that on the big screen. Like that's fine for me to
I'm with
take
you.
in a handheld on the go. So that for me is the perfect Switch game.
So I feel like a lot of this just is attributed to Shovel Knight. And again, this is not a bad thing. Us getting good games is a good thing. So I'm literally bringing this up for discussion's sake. Because here's what, not everybody's going to play them all. But I feel like this is devs chasing like Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight was such a huge hit that every indie dev was like, we've got to do something like a Shovel Knight. And how do we put our own spin on a Shovel Knight? And what we've gotten since then is just a endless amount of puzzle, pixel-based, 8-bit, side-scrolling platforming games. I'm just like, guys, all right, let's do something else. It's every direct we get one or two of these. Every direct for the last 2 years, we've gotten a game just like this.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's I'm not trying to sound mean or.
No,
angry. It's
I
just,
agree with you 100%. I totally understand exactly where you're coming from, and I agree. We've gotten a lot of these since Shovel Knight became what it was, and it's just like, okay, can we get something different? Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
No, it's my turn.
Okay.
You talked about the Jason game.
That's
Double Fine.
The Devin game. Jason's
it-
not here. I've
Okay.
replaced him.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's not. I don't think that sits well with me, but okay. Double Fine
I'll allow it.
says that one of their games is being published by Bandai Namco called Rad. It's just called RAD. Made in Unreal Engine, post-apocalyptic, regenerating the world kind of RPG. You have ridiculous power-ups and mutations, but the music in that trailer was great. This is not a game for me, but it's coming out this summer. It just seems a little too on drugs for me.
Tim Schafer, was it right? Tim Schafer was in they had the little thing where he popped up behind the dev and had like the little ball man. It is rad. This game is rad. It's a very fitting title. It's
rad.
Kind of nuts. Talking about indie stuff that's always the same. I ain't seen anything like this. This whole shape-shifting thing. That you've got like a bat, but you can transform into everything around you. I don't know. I don't know if I'm in on this one right away, but I'll definitely be following it throughout the year, and I'm excited to see like what the reviews are, and if it's good, I'll play it for sure because it's interesting.
I like it. I like it a lot. But again, it's because it also has like that 80s stuff, like the colors.
Yeah,
like it just reminds me
80s, 90s vibe.
of a certain period of time. Just the word rad, like it takes me back to my childhood and talking about radical, dude, and stuff like that. And then the colors and the game looks fun. So
Dude, I love the
that's something
sound
I'd
of
pick
that
up.
bat.
Yeah.
That bat effect sound was spot on. I was like, dude, that sounds great. I'm going to do that a bunch. That sounds perfect. That's how a bat should sound. That's perfect. Perfect sound effect.
Nice.
The next one was Creature in the Well. Now, this was it was funny because they had a little talking point when they talked about, have you ever wanted an action pinball game? And everybody said, Carol. Everybody said, Yoku's Island Express already did that. Before we even saw the game, I saw that
but
on
it
Twitter
wasn't-
and in the chat.
It was a platforming pinball game.
Correct.
It wasn't really an action adventure, but yes, they have already done the pinball hybrid
Yes.
very recently.
Then the game shows up, and we see this, and this is nothing like Yoku's Island Express. This is an action adventure game, top-down perspective, where you're using this pinball, kind of like this. I wouldn't even call it pinball. I get what they're trying to say, but it's almost like a volley mechanic. Like you're hitting something, goes off to hit switches or change things or break things to move the environments around.
Ping pong ball, it just goes everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's like this volley mechanic where you're hitting this ball around, and Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Again, not on the top of my list, but it was cool. Creature in the well, something to pay attention to.
So then I'm going to talk about this because this was something that would be on top of my list.
Okay.
So I watched this on mute. So I never even thought pinball. Pinball never crossed my mind.
That's
at
what they
all when I
said,
saw this.
and I agree with you. It's probably not the best way to try and unveil the game.
But then when I see where it's happening, you've got things that look like bumpers and look like holes, so it does look like a pinball style thing. And since it's kind of top down, I get what they're saying, and it makes a lot of sense. But she's got a sword, and I get to knock things into things and slice stuff and hit things, so it sits with me because that's the kind of stuff I like to do in games.
Dev, the cool thing about that is they said not only do you have a sword, you get 15 different weapons.
Oh yeah, see, yeah, up my alley. This is something that I enjoy. This is something that is like it's another one of those things that I can pick up for 5-10 minutes on the Switch, play on the toilet or whatnot, play on the go, play when I have a 15-minute break at work. This is the kind of stuff that I want to play on the Switch. Like, this works for me.
Okay. Bloodroots. Coming this summer, another top-down action game. It is a, quote, Western revenge tale featuring the anti-hero Mr. Wolf. And he's, like, jumping off of carrots and stuff. And this game was... All these games seem to be on something. They just all seem to be different. You know? It's just like... These were the kids that all sat together in the back of the class and were finding ways to get in trouble.
I'm a pass on Bloodroots. I got nothing to say.
Nope. I think we were both. You were the one that was saying yawn during the direct.
We'll talk. Let's get through the games. We'll talk about our overall impressions. The next one that came up was Pine. Pine got me for the first 5 seconds. Fable feels for real. Big colorful world comes up. Armor Knight. I was like, oh my god, indie Fable, yes! And then they started showing menus that looked clunky and inventory management, and then they started showing some animations that appeared to be sluggish and staggered, and movement seemed to not be fluid. It just seemed like I saw a lot of people, by the way, since I left work listening to podcasts on the way home, a lot of people were saying this is like Zelda. And I was like, how is this like Zelda? This is so much more like Fable.
Really just open world with Breath of the Wild being an open world.
I was wondering if they were like just 3D game equals Zelda. It's like, I don't know what exactly about this makes you see Zelda, but I didn't take it that way. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but in the direct that I watched it, I didn't take it in as Zelda clone, and I've heard that said more than once. A lot of people are calling it Zelda clone. I definitely got more Fable feels, and it just didn't look. It didn't look like it's running good. Now, look, we're judging it based off its first unveil. We have no idea when it's coming. Right? Did they announce a date for this one?
They said in August.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's
August.
coming. That's pretty soon.
5 months.
It didn't look like it was
Watching it
running
on
great.
mute makes me think of Ocarina of Time, so I can kind of
okay.
understand.
So you're getting
the Zelda.
Really?
I can kind of get it. It just makes me think of that, just the art style, the way that things move and look.
Okay.
I get that. I also have not played Fable, so I can't relate to that in any way. But I get it. But pass.
I remember when we first got Ice Age. It was one of the first DVDs that I ever got back in the early 2000s, and they showed the process of how these graphics were made from storyboard to making the models and the 3D and stuff. This looks like the untextured models before a finished movie should be like what it should look like.
Your Ice Age comp
creepy.
was pretty close, actually. And when you said that, I was like, that makes sense. It does kind of look like Ice Age.
Yeah.
It just looks creepy.
And it just didn't run well. And for a game that's so close, I guess I would hope to expect more. Maybe it's good, right? Like maybe we get reviews and people say it's good, and we see, gameplay footage and stuff. But from what I saw in the trailer that they showed, I can't say that I was overly impressed. But it is an indie game. It's not a $60 game. We don't know how much it's going to cost, but
That's true.
yeah.
Super Crate Box. This is like one of those where they started getting into the arcade style games. I think these are all made by Vlambeer, are they not?
No. I think Vlambeer just made the arcade collection game that's out there later. But Super Crate Box basically is Killer Queen Black. It took me all 3 seconds to look. I was like, "That's Killer Queen Black with without hornets."
Yep. It's coming out in April. You fight the enemies and hordes, and it's going to have multiple versions on other consoles and places, but only the Switch gets multiplayer.
It's interesting. Nuclear Throne is out now. It's out today. It's an action roguelite. You can solo a multiplayer in a wasteland. It's kind of like a lot of the other games we talked about on this list.
Yep. And then the one we were just talking about, Ultra Bugs, is the first game out of the Vlambeer's arcade bite-sized games that are coming later this year. It's a fast-paced shooter where you defeat space bugs and you collect their enemy DNA to customize your ship. I'm getting some bad Kingdom Hearts gummy ship vibes.
Oh, Roman corrects me. He says Super Crate Box and Nuclear Throne are both Vlambeer games.
Okay, that's what I thought. The
There
way
you
they threw all of them together, it sounded like they were all Vlambeer. Anyway.
Swim Sanity is out this summer. Multiplayer underwater side-scrolling shooter. They called it a looter shooter. So you play with 1 to 4 players, and you can play against bots. And there's more than 150 different challenges and levels. Now, here's the interesting thing: when they showed this game, I personally was sitting there. I was like, "That looks kind of cool for an indie game. I might play that." And then I opened up our Discord, and it was like a constant stream of hate. Everybody was like, "Oh no, I don't want to play that." Oh, I was like, "Well, looks like I'm not going to have any friends to play this game with, so I don't think I'm going to play it."
I played it with you, Donnie.
I got Metroid Prime Federation Force vibes.
And I liked Metroid Prime Federation Force. Like, me and Jason played it together, and we had a pretty good time. I'm not saying it's going to, flip the gaming world on its head, but if it's $14.99, it's a shooter. Like, I don't know. I didn't think it looked bad compared to
Kara was immediately out when it was underwater and there were underwater.
That's true. You were like, no, underwater game. And everybody was like, underwater, level the game. It didn't look like, it wasn't like, click A to swim like Mario or anything like that. It looked like a shooter.
You're just moving around underwater.
It's a side-scrolling
like Metal
shooter.
Slug underwater.
Yes! And I was like, this kind of looks cool. If it's $14.99, like compared to what Pine looked like in motion, this looked way better. I was like, this doesn't look bad. But apparently I'm alone in that thinking. I don't think anybody else liked it.
I mean, it didn't look terrible. It looked like Broforce meets Metal Slug underwater.
It is exactly what I thought. Yeah,
I'm
it's
good.
like Metal Slug, just like a little fun shooter.
I don't fight giant sea creatures. I just don't do it.
I'd play it, but only with friends. Apparently, it's a multiplayer game, so I would play it, but only with friends. It doesn't look like we're going to have too many of those, but I thought it was cool.
Oh, rare. Excuse me. I was about to call it Math Blaster. Blaster Master.
That'd be a better game.
2.
Look here, sir.
I love Math Blaster.
You watch your dirty mouth, sir. You will not silly Blaster Master, okay?
Blaster Master 02 is out today. It's from NT Creates and Sunsoft. I was shocked to see that Sunsoft is still using the same logo that they've been using since like the 80s or 90s when they were. I love it too. I was not a fan of this voiceover though. Like, I was watching it with Brian, and he's like, what did he say? He said something like, "It's Nerf or nothing." I mean, he was like they're literally trying to sell you a Nerf gun.
Crossfire! That's exactly the type of marketing stuff.
Anyway, I guess Dev, you like these games, yeah?
I like them on NES. I'm not going to play this.
There's Blaster Master on the Switch.
Blaster Master. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to play it.
Okay.
That's one of those, like, I have nostalgia for it, but I'm not going back to play it.
Well, then,
like, for me, a lot of what Blaster Master, what I like about it was like the music, and it just takes me to that time period of when I was playing it. But I don't want to play Blaster Master.
Okay.
It just has a nice place in my heart back when I played it, and that's where it'll stay.
I love the whole, Donnie, don't say bad things. I am not going to play this game. Yeah, I'm not going to play it either, so yeah.
I've only got so much time, and I'm going to be playing the Blade game.
I don't need NES games on my Switch. I'm good. Good, guys.
You don't need NES games in your life.
You're into good graphics culture, okay? So I need good graphics, all right? You keep NES stuff, and, you know what? Master Blaster, I played the demo. It's not like the graphics are bad. They're cool. They're simple. It was okay. It's just whatever it's called. I played the demo when it was out on Switch, like at launch, and it was decent. But yeah, I mean,
it plays just like it did back in.
It would be disingenuous for me to come here and be like, "Oh my God, Blaster Man!" I got none of that, so sorry. Yeah. Not interested. Pass.
Yeah.
What about Battletoads? Are you excited for the new Battletoads?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Jason and I were.
They showed that at E3. I was like, why? Why is this thing right now?
Are you into like pain and hating yourself? Is that why we're excited for Battletoads?
So hard. So
Nobody beats the speeder bike level. Like, no, I'm good. I don't want to go back to there.
I think that's exactly the times that I like kept dying when I was a kid.
Yes,
I never made it
nobody beats that. It's nonsense. Maybe Jason can beat it, but other than that, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Jason can totally beat it. All right, Donnie, you're next.
Stranger Things Season 3 comes out July 4th, the exact same day that Season 3 launches on Netflix. Amazing show. We knew this game was on the way to Switch. It was unveiled at the Game Awards. I believe I'm the only person that's played it. Is that correct? I've actually played the Stranger Things, the game.
The one on mobile?
Yeah, the one on mobile.
I played it. Yeah.
Okay, so you played it too. It was okay.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, cool.
You get to like kind of re-experience the story. It's like like an NES little adventure game.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna pay to play it. I don't think I paid to play it. Actually, I think I got it for
free.
Yeah, I got it for free. So I'm not gonna pay to play this one. That makes me feel bad because I'm pretty sure somebody put some effort into it. But like I wouldn't if it cost money, I wouldn't have ever played it in the first place. The only reason I ever played it was because it was free. I played it on my Chromebook and it was okay. I didn't finish it. Like it was there was nothing there that I was like, oh my god, I've got to beat this because it's got some Easter egg and Stranger Things. There wasn't enough of that to hook me, so I can't tell you that I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It literally I put it on my phone, and it just reminded me of like an NES game. You got an overworld, you go into like little dungeons, you get key cards, you got to open this door and that. I was like, I've done this 40 bajillion times.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool that it's set in the Stranger Things universe and all, but I'll just wait for the show.
You need the key card to get to the elevator, and you need the coin to get the bottle of water out of the Coke machine, and it's just it just keeps going.
And then you got to backtrack because now you found the red key, and you can open that door that needed the red key way back there. So yeah,
it sucks. I don't want to poo-poo on Stranger Things. A big deal. That's an awesome thing. Caroline has no idea what it's about, which is hilarious. But
I'm about to find out.
That's upsetting that you were about to find out.
You're in the 80s culture, right? How have you not watched this? I'm so confused.
Anybody that was really into 80s culture would have watched it by now. I'm just saying, right? Like if you were really into it.
You want a Z-Snap over here? No, I'm speaking of the streaming. Speaking of the streaming, I don't have my own Netflix account, right?
Nobody has their own Netflix account. What are you talking about?
Nobody actually pays Netflix. That's the thing that we've all.
Okay. Well, my sister got a Netflix account sometime last year, and I was like, she's like, hey, if you want to piggyback on it, I'll let you watch it. And I wanted to watch it for something, and I've watched it maybe a handful of times since then. But she watches it, and
my wife loves Stranger Things. The day it comes out, we will watch the entire season that night. She won't stop watching every episode. Just click next, keep playing. Oh, she'll binge it all, and then she'll whine all year long about how there's not more of it.
That's why I love
the same thing.
Episodes coming out on weekly basis.
I'd support that.
I can't do that. I love the binge thing because I don't have time to watch anything. So if I can sit down and get like 4 shows in a row in without having to wait till next week, which I'm probably not gonna make it, I'm good with it. Like, give me the whole show, let me get through it on my own time, and not have to wait a week, 2 weeks. Then when you guys go on break for 4 weeks, I hate that. I can't stand that crap. I'm so over it.
I would be interested in knowing what about Stranger Things Season 3 is better than Stranger Things the game. Like, do they have power-ups? Have they changed things? Is combat different, or is it literally just the same thing? And if it was different and cool and new, I would go as far as paying them $5 to play that experience again. That's it, though. That's it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that's it. I wouldn't, if they were like, Donnie, it's $14.99, I'd be like, hard pass. I'll wait for a sale.
Daniel is rolling over somewhere, getting really upset with you.
Anyway, I will be watching Stranger Things because the Baba O'Reilly remix sold me on it. And then I found the Baba O'Reilly remix on iTunes, and I downloaded it, and I've probably listened to it like 30 times in a row.
You should be watching Stranger Things because it's awesome, not because of the Bob O'Reilly remix or whatever it is.
True. Yeah, it's very true. It's so sad.
You love 80s culture. You need to watch Stranger Things.
But does she? If she hasn't watched Stranger Things, does she?
You know what? You're right. She doesn't.
Yeah. I think it's just the thing she says.
I'm just going to finish up with a Carol game. It's a Carol game. It's a Carol game. It's a Carol game. So they're showing Crypt of the Necromancer stuff, right? and all of a sudden she goes from being inside this crypt, and then I'm like, hey, wait a second, that's Link to the Past trees. This is all Link to the Past. What's going on? Crypt of the Necrodancer is doing their second game as a Legend of Zelda crossover called Cadence of Hyrule. It is a rhythm action RPG set in the Link to the Past world. You get to bring Link and Zelda as playable characters to help the main protagonist. And I believe the first game I was looking came out originally in 2015, but the Switch got its port on February 1st of last year.
It's amazing they didn't put it on sale. They're running a sale right now at 30% of all these games. It's amazing that the
Crypt of
the Necrodancer wasn't included on that.
Did we get a date for this at all?
I think so. Yeah, it's soon. No. I think it's yes. There is a date for this. Let me look it up.
Okay.
You keep talking.
Well, anyway, the art's beautiful. And of course, anything Zelda, I'm automatically sold on. I've got to probably get the first game to try and understand how the mechanics work.
The rhythm.
Yeah, I'm fine with rhythm heavy games where you're just tapping along to beats and getting stuff done through mini games. But this is literally, if you want to move, you have to hop to the beat of the music. If you want to slice, you have to slice to the beat of the music. So we'll see how that ends up working. I think I need to school myself and get some practice in with the first game, though. But it's a Zelda game, guys. We're getting 2 Zelda games in a year.
That was heavily rumored. We were told we were getting another.
Is it really a Zelda game?
Okay, so it is Q2.
Is it really a Zelda game?
It's spring. It's spring. That's the only thing I can find is that it's spring.
Okay, so it's Q2, and then Link's Awakening will be Q4.
It's May, basically. You just call it that. One of the cool things about this Nindy lineup is that with the inclusion of the Labo VR, with Yoshi, with all the ports that we're getting in May, is that now we're actually starting to fill up a little kind of calendar. There was a while there where April and May felt barren. Now they're packed with games. There's Switch games coming out every week. Oh. So that's good. Cadence of Hyrule. Okay.
No.
When I first saw this game, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at all. I was like, what? Why are they hopping and everything? I've never seen Crypt of the Necrodancer. This is all new to me. I've actually never seen it before. So
Me either.
I kept asking people in the chat, what am I looking at right now? Why is this the thing? Because I, too, was kind of watching. At this point in the Direct, I had kind of muted it because we had things going at the office. So I was kind of catching this, kind of through the side eye. After the Direct, I went back and looked it up. And I watched some reviews for Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I got to see how, the game played. So now I get it, right? There's this drum beat that's constantly going, and you've got to, move and slice and attack. All of your actions are set to the beat. I typically like rhythm games. The interesting part, though, is I'm not sure if I want rhythm dungeon crawler. I don't know how the procedurally generated dungeon crawler is going to do for me. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to buy this or Crypt of the Necrodancer, one of them. If Crypt of the Necrodancer goes on sale, because right now it's $20, and I don't want to take a $20 flyer. But if it goes on sale, I'll take a $10 flyer and see if I like it. I'm not immediately sold just because it has Link and Zelda in it that I'm going to buy it. I think it's cool. It's a rhythm game and it's set to Zelda music. There's an intrigue there. But I saw some things if you don't beat the dungeon by the time the song ends and things like that, then the game's over. You restart and everything procedurally generates and it comes. Those are the type of rogue experiences that I'm not into. We've seen those other games, right? And I'm I don't want to play any of that. And when it comes to me in Zelda games, my whole nature is exploring. I want to lift every rock and blow up every wall, and and it doesn't seem like you're going to have that option here. You're on a timer. Literally, you're on a timer. So there were some things that I'm a little hesitant to. That said, totally think it's cool that Nintendo loaned out their IP to an indie developer. That's friggin' awesome.
Never been done before.
More studios, more publishers should look into this. You've got all these development resources out there that will make you a game. And if you just partnered with them and let them use Mario or Aloy or Ellie or any of these IPs or Spider-Man that you have that you can make a cool game with, we talked about the side-scrolling action-adventure game, right? Dude, I totally play as a Spider-Man one of those in a heartbeat. If they showed up tomorrow with a Spider-Man action-adventure side-scrolling platformer I could swing with, I'd buy that game. You know, like
Let
there
me
is
get you a Genesis real quick, and I'll get you that game.
right,
Give me
but
a taste.
there's a benefit to IP, is what I'm trying to say, right? Like that'll get people into something that the normal indie thing wouldn't, and I think that's what this is. I think somebody at Nintendo realized that Crypt of the Necrodancer was a really cool concept, and they go, you know what would really make that really cool? IP that matters. Let's put Link and Zelda in that game and see what if people buy it then. I'm not saying that the other one didn't, you know, because apparently it's very heralded. It's got rewards. You're talking about somebody who's got Persona 5 dancing all night and actually plays it. You're talking about somebody who's beaten Hatsune Miku. I like rhythm games. We play Rock Band all the time. I'm into rhythm games, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say I'm poo-pooing on it. I just don't understand like the mashup. I feel like it's one of those things that, and this was actually said in a lot of reviews, I think I'm going to have to play it to understand it. Because every review was like, you got to experience it. You don't know what you don't know. And I'm wondering if there's like a groove that you get into, and maybe it's not super hard. Like from a lot of things I saw, I felt like it might be hard. Like if you get a little lost or whatnot, you may just have to restart all over. I don't know. I've never really been into the everything's random and you're gonna do something different every time you play the game. You know, like I always feel kind of lost in those games. You know, because it always that was like my thing with Dead Cells. Every time I restart, it's like completely new, and I was like, some people love that. I don't. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just made all this progress and now it's all different. I don't want to relearn everything all over again, you know? So things like that.
You're good with breaking weapons, huh? Cool.
Yeah, but at least the world didn't spin every time you broke one, right? That'd be a little bit different, wouldn't it? I guarantee you I wouldn't like Breath of the Wild nearly as much. But the music looks really good, and it's you know, it is a Zelda game. It's got the IP, and that matters to us.
I mean,
yeah,
here's the thing.
Is it really a Zelda game?
Ralph mentioned this, and I agree completely. If Hyrule Warriors didn't have the success that it did, this game doesn't happen at all.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because they gave it to a pretty reputable franchise, Dynasty Warriors, in Bandai Namco, and I had to explain the difference between indie and a developed third-party company to Brian, like how they got it, and they're considered not indie. And anyway, I think if Hyrule Warriors flopped, they probably wouldn't have been willing to give it to somebody else.
Kind of gives me Minish Cap vibes, though.
What, this one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know, like that art. Yeah,
it's sprite work, definitely.
But as I say, it's Link to the Past, but it didn't look like Link to the Past. Like all the goblins and everything, like kind of looks a little different. I was kind of
give me that game without the rhythm stuff, and I'll be happy. I don't want the rhythm at all. You can keep the rhythm of the night.
You're not down with the beat?
Dev, you're not like a soul man?
Let the beat drop, man.
Yes, but not in the video game. Like, I have no desire to have to play the game to a rhythm.
Dude, you need to play some Hatsune Miku.
If I'm going to play a music game, it's going to be Rock Band.
You need to play Hatsune Miku.
I'm good.
No, Persona 5.
I can't even pronounce that.
Persona 5 dancing all night. Dude.
Absolutely not.
And Takamaki dancing. It's everything you've ever wanted in a video game.
That's not actual dancing. No,
it's dancing. It's good stuff.
No, stop it.
I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. Like, so let's just talk about our overall thoughts on the direct. I saw a lot of people love this direct. Jacob Rush, best Nindies direct I've ever seen. Like, he's all in. And you remember after the last direct that I loved so much with Mario Maker and everything, Jacob was like, meh, not that great.
Yeah.
But this direct, for whatever reason, does it for him. Now we're the opposite. Like, just to show you a different thing. I'm not like, I thought the direct was fine, showed a lot of great games, but if you're asking me which ones I'm buying, I am definitely in on 2.
Same.
Maybe
2.
3.
Wow. There's like 4 or 5 I'd actually get. You guys were poo-pooing Burrows, and I'm like, that looks awesome. I'm going to play that.
Good.
To me, it was the first
I enjoyed this.
and the last. Everything else was just a bunch of jelly and peanut butter. Got to go for the bread.
Give me all the things with the swords in them, and I'm going to buy it.
I'm getting Pedro.
Sword, I'm buying it.
I'm getting Dog Sled Game for sure. Day 1 purchases, those things are happening. Probably getting Cadence, maybe. Like, probably.
Donnie, you're going to get it.
I don't know.
I was so excited, and I was like turning to you in Discord, and you weren't there.
I had a lot of things going on in the office, but it was just one of those things when I went back and rewatched it, I was just like, the Zelda fan in me wants to go, I'm going to buy it. But then, like, the realism in me looks at it and I go, but are you going to like it? You know, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to like this game. So I don't know. I literally just don't know. I need to see reviews and gameplay. I need to play it. You know, like with a rhythm game, because like I love rhythm games. I didn't like Thumper. I didn't like Thumper at all. Everybody loved Thumper, and everybody's talked about Thumper for a long time. I didn't like Thumper at all. Was like upset I even bought it. I was like, oh, I don't like this game.
Wow.
So like I don't know. I think with those games, I think music goes a long way, right? Like any rhythm game, if you don't like the music, you're not into it. Like it doesn't matter how well the game plays. If you don't like the music, you're just not gonna like it. You know, so things like that. You know, I don't know. We'll see. I should like the music and cadence. It's all Hylian music. Should like that, but
Yeah.
Hylian culture.
yeah, I'm into Hylian culture. Yeah, I'm into Hylian culture.
I'm in the culture of kicking y'all's butts.
We do have one quick news story to get out of here. It's a long shack. Sorry, guys. But this is newsworthy. We need to talk about it. Konami announced that it's bringing out multiple arcade classic collections to Switch. So there is an arcade classics collection, there is a Castlevania collection, and there's a Contra collection. I believe every one of them comes with 8 games. We know the 4 that are coming with Contra and Castlevania, and there are 4 surprises that we don't know. So with Castlevania, we're getting NES versions of Castlevania, Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, and then we're getting Super Castlevania 4, the best Castlevania game. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's really cool. It's coming. The arcade collection comes out in April. It's $20. I mean, it's cool that we're getting collections. I said this in our Discord. I said it to Dev. He was the one that popped the story first. I don't know what they could put into a Castlevania collection that I think that would realistically make me buy it. Super Castlevania 4 is an amazing game that I also own like 8,000 copies of. I own it like everywhere on every system before Switch. I have it. I have it like on Wii. I have it on Wii U. Is it on 3DS? If it is, I'm pretty sure I own it there. We have it on the classic console. Like I've got Super Castlevania 4. The ones that I don't have are the GBA games, and a lot of people have brought those up. You know,
I forgot about those.
Just don't know.
I have those. Those are good.
I just don't know if I'd buy them. That's the other thing of it. I also don't know if I'd buy them. I would need to see them. Like, does it look like a GBA game, or have they like remade it? Does it look good? Like, how does it play and look?
You just need a hype train. That's all it is. You get a little hype train behind that, and you're gonna buy it.
So for like the classics, what I want the bezels. I want like some customization, like
God, I hate those.
SNES classic it up for me, like make it cool to revisit the arcade games. If it literally is just like the Castlevania Symphony of the Night games that came on PS4, where it's just the ROM, no, I don't want that at all. Like it's just the ROM and a menu. I don't like doll it up a bit. If you're gonna doll it up a bit, I might be interested. But if you're just gonna dump the ROMs, I don't know that I am.
Man, a pig is still a pig, no matter how you dress it up. I don't care about the bezels. I don't need none of that crap.
I like
just
the cool
give me the
stuff.
game.
It's cool, like especially when they make it move, and they like one of the cool things with SNES is you can make it change colors based on the color that it's like your full screen.
I loathe that stuff.
Oh,
I just want
it's the best.
Game. Get rid of the bezels, put it on the entire screen, and call it a day.
It's a tiny little screen because they always have the black bars, man.
I hate that. Just fill the screen. Just fill the screen.
You're getting the Contra collection though, right?
Oh heck yeah, absolutely. I'm getting the Contra collection. There's no doubt about that.
I think
but
I'll
not
probably
Castlevania. I'll probably pass.
But not Blaster Master.
Brian loves Contra.
No, not Blaster Master.
I would say $20 for 8 games is a pretty solid deal. I would say I like Castlevania. I'm into Castlevania culture. So if the other 4 Castlevania games are good, like things that are hard to get, probably if they're Symphony of the Night, like if one of them is Symphony of the Night, I might pop. $20 is not that big. I might pop for that. But like the NES games, I just have no use for. So right now I'm looking at the Castlevania collection as one game, and it's Super Castlevania 4 because I'm never going to play the other ones. So like the other 4 would need to be really good because right now I was to think about buying it. I'm buying it for one game. So. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, give me Contra. They can keep their arcade classics. Just give me a Contra.
I know. I totally realized I completely was the only one that shared like overall thoughts on the Direct. What did you guys think? Sorry.
I already said I'm getting the first one and the last one.
Right, but like the Direct itself, like you could,
I thought that it was definitely a lot there, but I think there's something for everybody, like genre-wise. If they had their side scrollers, they had their top-down perspective, puzzle games, action RPGs, weird. What was the the simulator for if you want to be an Uber driver, sure. Yeah, I think I know what I like, and I like the first and the last, and everybody else, Dev seems to like a lot.
Yeah, they put a bunch of stuff in there that I actually liked. I was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I've only seen like 1 or 2 directs because, as y'all know, Nintendo is just not my home. But this was cool. I like the just here's 30 minutes of what we got going on. Like, I don't need all the pomp and circumstance and extra. In fact, like, I watched most of it on mute and just went to the games and like just cut out the people talking because I don't care about y'all. Y'all can talk. I don't want to hear any of that. I just want to see the games. I don't need you guys to explain anything.
He's speaking like a true Sony fan who's been conditioned to the PlayStation blog where they just dump trailers. Just like, here you go.
For me, because like you know how I feel about reviews and stuff like that,
sure.
I just need to see the game. I don't need you to tell me what it is. I don't need any of that. As long as I can see the game and see where it's going, I'm going to know whether or not I want to play it or not.
I'm with you.
And from this direct, there are several games that I'm like, I would like to play that.
It's cool. It usually is the direct. I like the humor and the setup and kind of the way they play around on things. Yes, yeah. But this new pairing is not hitting for me.
Yeah, so you like that pomp and circumstance.
Sometimes, sure, yeah. Dial it up, man. Let's make an event. Let's be entertaining. Speaking of the cadence, though, the Cadence of Hyrule, that Soundfall game. If you're interested at all in the Cadence of Hyrule and the thing game like that, I've been following a game for a while called Soundfall, and they're very similar. It's a rhythm-based action game, and it's kind of like a roguelike, and things are procedural, I believe. I don't know, because I've only seen like a couple YouTube videos about it. It just looks very different. It's more like, I dare say, Jason-y, like, you know, lasers and purple and, you know, like 80s color vibes and things like that. Just, I don't know, I think it looks a little better. You know, it's just not like, you know, old style, you know, bit game. So I've been following game for like that, and that's what this reminded me of when I went and watched reviews of it. So anyway, that's it. Long shack. Too long of a shack. Sorry, guys. Before we get out of here, let's thank our Patreon producers. So thank you, Coach Hulk. Thanks, Callow. Devin. What's up, Dev? Kevin, Kyle, Chris, Joel, Professor Switch, Josh Borboni, the Bone Saw, Barry Cathcart, and Paul Calicote. Without you guys, we couldn't do it. That's it for Shaq. We will see you next week. Good night, Koopalings.